Good evening. Welcome to episode 17 of the Always Better Than Yesterday interview sessions. If you are catching up on replay, you will not know that we've had some technical difficulties this evening. So hopefully, second time lucky, we're going to get this working. So I believe, I hope you believe. Let's see. Right. So episode 17 of the Always Better Than Yesterday interview sessions. I'll give it a little bit of an intro, even though I've already done that the first time round. And, these are all about understanding the mindset, the habits and the mindset of successful and inspiring people. I've been very, very fortunate to speak with some very awesome people over the last 17 weeks. And I'm really excited to bring you Sara Gaver tonight. Sara, I saw her on a TED Talk. And there were a few things that she said in her talk that just massively, massively inspired me. None more so than at the very end when my absolute goosebumps. And for those of you that logged in the first time around, you'll know this. I've said this the first time, but I'm going to say it again for the benefit of those catching up with this stream. I was super inspired by a lot of what she said, but my goosebumps came when she said, "My arms might not work, but I can reach out. And sometimes my legs might not work, but I can take a stand." And that just blew my mind, and I knew in that moment that I had to have a conversation with Sara and just hear a little bit more about her and her mindset and how she thinks and acts. So I'm super excited, I say that holding my breath, to get Sara on with me this evening. And I've got to make this work. Got to. Second time round. Let's get you some value this evening. So if this adds you value, I would love it if you shared it with that one person that you think it would benefit. And if you're, yes, oh my god, here we go, it's gonna work. Love it when a plan comes to when it works out.
Aha.
The relief I have right now is amazing. So as I was just about to say before you popped up, for those listeners and the viewers that are my loyal, Always Better Than Yesterday interview sessions, drop some blue love heart emojis. Let us know that you're returning. And if this is the first time you've ever caught an Always Better Than Yesterday interview session, drop a red love heart so that we can chat and have a good conversation. But anyway, enough about that. Welcome.
Thanks.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am amazing now. Thank you very much for joining me.
No problem.
So, would you do me the honour of introducing yourself and telling a little bit about your story to the listeners and the watchers?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Sara Gaver. I'm 25 years old from Jacksonville, Florida. I am a business owner. I'm an entrepreneur. I also work full-time in the healthcare industry. But I work as an entrepreneur in the financial industry as well. I absolutely love helping people. People are my passion for sure. I've done a lot of things in the community. I think you touched on it earlier. So I've done a TED Talk. I was Miss Wheelchair Florida, then competed for Miss Wheelchair America in 2016. And I just do a lot of involvement, helping the community with empowerment, really building up people and helping to change their lives for a positive reason and things like that. So.
Amazing. So we had a bit of a chat the other day, and there's so much that I would love to just dive in and talk to you about. So I'm going to try and keep it a little bit structured because my mind will go off in all sorts of directions. And just let's just pick up on the theme of your TED Talk around beyond face value, and a lot of that was all around perception and things like that. Tell me a little bit about how you overcome that perception, that some of the more physical perceptions, and how you think about and how you perceive yourself, really.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess I should have included in my introduction. Sometimes I forget, but I'm in a wheelchair. You can't see it in the video. I have a disability called arthrogryposis, multiplex congenita, and blue is our color. So the fact that you have blue hearts is super awesome.
Amazing.
But I've lived with it my entire life. So I was born that way. I'm not able to walk, but I don't really let that stop me. So changing people's perceptions is super important. A lot of people, grow up and in their family, they don't really know any different. You don't really walk to the store here or go anywhere in public and see 10 or 15 people in line that are in wheelchairs. It's just not common. We don't go out as much as, everybody else does. So being able to really help people understand that if you walk by somebody in a wheelchair, it's not something that we want where you get uncomfortable and you're not sure if you can talk to them. You're not sure what might happen. We're people too. We have a lot of capabilities that nobody even realizes, which sometimes brings some of us down to not really believe in ourselves. And unfortunately, there's not those people who are backing them up and encouraging and pushing and making sure that we have full potential. So I really hope and, really try and change the perceptions of society, because the way you see me is definitely not the way I see myself. But sometimes the way that you perceive me becomes that energy that kind of pushes off me throughout the day. And sometimes it can be negative. So really being able to change perceptions to understand that just because I'm in a chair doesn't mean I can't talk to you. Just because I'm in a chair doesn't mean I can't go hang out with you. Just because I'm in a chair doesn't mean I can't play sports. I can't do all kinds of things like that. It just means I have to become creative in the way that I do the things that I do.
I love that. And, I would describe myself as a mindset coach. And, I genuinely believe that it's down to the way that we think that will inform the way that we act, that will inform the results that we get. And, I'm really interested in knowing, because you're all about empowering others now, but where does that empowering self come from? Where did that start? Where did you, build that?
I don't know where it started. I think it has a lot to do with the fact that I have a love for public speaking. I've never been trained to speak, nothing at all. I started public speaking when I was in high school. I was senior class president, and they were like, "You have to talk at graduation." I was like, "Okay, I've never done that before." But after that day, it's such a good feeling to be able to alter people's thinking by the words that you say. Words are so powerful. People don't realize how powerful words are. Whether somebody says them to you or the words that you say to yourself, whether they're, to yourself in your brain or whether you're saying them out loud, it really affects your life on a daily basis. So I am so empowered by other people. People give me so much energy that being able to see people change and see the reactions of people and really see them, go out and make a difference in their lives is just so important to really make a difference that way.
Wow. I love that. Tell me a little bit about public speaking then. Do you get fearful? Do you get nervous?
Okay, so a little bit. I normally get nervous way before it. But once you're up there, you're like, well, everybody's listening to me, so I kind of have to do it no matter what. But once you're up there, if you're passionate about what you're speaking about, which is normally either telling my story or really kind of using my story in ways to motivate others, it's so easy to speak to people because I know what I'm saying. I don't have to follow a script. There's no memorization or nothing like that because my story is real and it's my story. So it makes it a little bit easier that way. And in the end result, no matter if I, got applause or didn't or whatever, there's one person in that audience that has absolutely changed because of what somebody said while they were public speaking. It doesn't take everybody to change, just takes one person. So.
Yeah. I really believe that we can change the world one person at a time.
Absolutely.
I love that. In your talk as well, you talked about, that it's not going to be easy. And let's dig into that. So it's not easy. So why do you do it?
So why do I do it? Because even though life is very difficult, there are a lot of things I face every day that it gets harder and harder. And you're like, man, I don't really know. What's the point on getting up today sometimes, and that's a thought that goes through my head every once in a while, not as often. But why is because there's so many other individuals out there that thought goes through their head consistently. And if there's not that role model and there's not that change agent out there who's pushing them, they're not going to hit their full potential and they don't believe in themselves. We have role models on TV that people follow and there's actors and all this stuff, but you never see somebody who genuinely is in a wheelchair, has a disability, or things like that. They're just not out there on media anywhere, TV, magazines, newspapers, and stuff like that. Like, it's so important because if you don't have that support system at home, and nobody's pushing you to be as independent as possible, to be that spokesperson for yourself, who's going to do it? Because for you to do it for yourself, there's willpower involved, you know, and willpower is really hard to build for yourself when there's nobody, there's not that team, there's not those cheerleaders on the sidelines cheering you on. You know, I'm very lucky. I grew up with parents who literally put me in every setting. Yeah, I didn't like touching things when I was little, so my mom stuck my hands in dirt and shaving cream and all kinds of stuff, and it was so gross. But because of things like that, and because of the support system of my family, I know that I can go out and do things. I know that I can be independent. I know I can live on my own. I knew I could go to college. It just I had to find a way. But some people give up because they don't have that. They don't have that power behind them, supporting them to get to where they want to go.
Wow, that's really powerful. And I think while you were talking then about, you know, being that role model for other people, and there's sometimes being days when you don't want to get out of bed, I think what you've just said back to me is my own personal definition of leadership, which in my heart, leadership is about being able to put your own needs to one side,
right,
so that you can look after others, you know. And I think what you've just described back to me is exact, you know, you are showing leadership by, you know, putting your own needs to one side. Sometimes you won't want to get out of bed, but you've got this sense of purpose and this drive around, you know, inspiring and or being an advocate and a role model for others. And you know, and that's why I wanted to talk to you, because it would be so easy not to.
Right.
You know, it would be so. There are many people in the world that define their own limitations. You know,
Absolutely.
within the space of this, between the ears. You know, so let's talk about, you know, limitations or no limits. Then, you know, why is that important to you?
Let's see, no limits. So the only reason why that it really stands out to me that it's super important is because a lot of people will put limits on themselves and they'll create excuses. And if you really dig deep and find out why, the excuse isn't valid. A lot of times people will say things and they're like, oh, I can't do this because of this. Well, can you not do it because of that? Or is there actually something else underlying is the reason why you're not doing it? And most of the time, it just comes down to what you tell yourself. Like I had said earlier, it's really important to feed your mind a lot of things. Like if you're going to come to me and tell me you can't do something because you don't have time, well, do you really not have time, or are you lazy? You know, or is there, what are the other boundaries that you're creating for yourself? There are no limits to anything. If you are creative in how you can figure out how to do something, there is no limit. Like, okay, so I can't go play a sport. Okay, I can't play a sport like you expect me to play a sport, but I can play a sport. I just have to adapt and become creative. You know, I can't use my hands to put on my makeup. Okay, cool. Well, that means I have to create something that is my hands so that I can put my own makeup on. It's just a matter of thinking outside the box. And a lot of people don't want to take the time to do that. They'd rather sulk and think about the fact that, oh, I can't. Well, yes, you can, but what are you doing to change it? So.
You're getting a lot of love in the comments.
I know, I'm reading them as they go by.
It's hard not to get distracted by them, isn't it?
I know.
That's amazing. So, you know, and it would be so easy just to move on to the next topic, but I'm really interested to dig in a little bit deeper around what you've just said, and you know, what helps you do that? What helps you think in that way?
I think it's the fear of being left out. I do have a fear of being left out. There's a lot of times where I'm like, man, you know, people get to go do this every day, or people get to go do that, and I have to consistently remind myself that you can do it too. Like there's absolutely no reason why you can't. You're holding yourself back. So I use a lot of affirmations. Affirmations are super important. So I tell myself every day what I can do, that I can do everything that I want to do, that things come to me every day because I know I can do everything I want to do. So it's really about your mind. Your mind is so strong and it has so much power over you that people don't even realize, you know, how much they can get out of it. So
I love that. My darling wife is asking you a question, saying, does your incredible mindset come naturally to you, or have you had to work at it?
Okay, so that's a really good question. And parts of it come naturally, but a lot of it comes from what I feed my mind. So I read a lot. I read a ton of books. on mindset, on personality, on, you know, speaking to people, on anything that I have a passion for, I will read about it. I will find articles to read about it and stuff like that, because what you feed your mind, of course, is then what you use in real life. So yes, some of it does come naturally. Some of it is really played on by outside factors like my parents, you know, my siblings and things like that. But a lot of it is what I read, and I make sure I read all the time. So.
Yeah. Is there any one or two life-changing books that you've read? Is there one or two that you'd recommend?
So, well, currently right now I read a lot of books. Because I'm a business owner and I'm building in the financial industry, I read a lot of books on your financial mindset, because they always say the rich stay rich and the poor stay poor. Well, what happens if you come from a family who's poor and you want to be rich? Well, unless you change your mindset, you actually can't, unfortunately, because you're stuck with that subconscious thoughts of, I can't do this, I can't do this. My family didn't have this, I didn't come from this, so I can't do this either. So there's a lot of books out there specifically for, you know, changing your mindset from poor to rich, you know, really thinking about how your mind works and how to be that leader. So one of my favorite books on leadership is Extreme Leadership. It's a phenomenal book. And it's written so well that it really changes your perceptions on how to be a leader. People think being a leader means you tell other people what to do. That's not what being a leader is all about. Being a leader is setting an example and then helping the others who want to be a leader as well, help them follow you and do the same thing.
So that's Extreme Leadership by Jocko Willink?
That's right. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Oh, that was awesome. Yeah, I like that. So let's talk a little bit about what your entrepreneurship is. What is it that you're building?
Yeah, absolutely. So part of a financial brokerage. So I help change people's lives on a daily basis through helping them make money, save money, protect their family, build legacies. People say, oh my gosh, I don't have enough money. Oh my goodness, I'm not making enough money where I'm working. Well, what are you doing to change it? You know, what's your plan B? You want to live a life of significance. You want to be able to build the house of your dreams. You want to be able to do this, but you're stuck. You know, and how many people are willing to change? And if you're willing to change, then let me help you. Whether you join me in business, whether you decide that, okay, I need to protect my family, so let me put this financial product in place, or, you know, let me be that mentor for you. I've lived through so many things, or I've read so many things that I can build experiences and help mentor people through life. So I am a life insurance agent, but I call myself a life-changing agent because I do so much more. It's just another platform to help so many people.
And that's the difference between what you do and why you do it, isn't it? You know, that separation is, you know, I can really see how you bring that to life. So let's touch on legacy.
Okay.
You know, what's going to be your legacy?
So my legacy is a family. Like, my hope is that no matter what happens, no matter where I go, you know, whatever happens when I'm gone, that I have changed society's perception. Maybe I changed it small. Maybe I only changed it in one community. Maybe I changed it in my country. Maybe I changed it worldwide. That's the dream, is to be able to go worldwide and say, this is how life is. Yes, life is difficult, but the only reason it stays difficult is because you continuously tell yourself it's difficult. There's so much potential in this world that we don't use. People say, well, why do you like the city you live in? Why do you enjoy being here? I enjoy it because there's so many opportunities. And people are like, what do you mean opportunities? I said, every day you get a different opportunity, but you don't take it. You know, it's all about faith, you know, depending on whoever you believe in, that's fine. But the opportunities are handed to you. You ask, and, you know, and you pray for certain things. I pray for money. I hope this, I hope that, I want wealth, blah, blah, blah. They're given to you. They are so much handed to you, and people walk right past them. They don't even realize that the opportunity was there for them. It's not going to be handed to you. Life is never handed to you on a silver platter. That's my favorite statement. It's not handed to you. You have to work for it. But if you're willing to put in the work, I promise your life will be so much different. It's just a mindset thing. It's all about your mind. All about your mind.
I love that. So what would be your top tips around mindset?
Around mindset is always feed your mind something positive, no matter what it is. The music you listen to, the things you watch on TV. I don't even watch TV. I have a TV that collects dust. The books that you read, the people you surround yourself with. Don't surround yourself with people who are on the same level as you. If you want to get somewhere in life, you have to surround yourself with the people who are going to get you there, which are the people who've already done it. So make sure that you surround yourself with higher level people, higher level thinking, things like that. Eliminate the drama in your life. Eliminate the negativity. Somebody brings you something negative, great. Yes, thanks for sharing, but until you fix that, I don't want to talk about it. Don't let that be that dark cloud over you. It's not worth it because you have so much more potential. You're just letting those people who are negative bring you down.
I always know when I'm having a conversation with the right people when my cheeks start to hurt because I'm smiling too much, you know. Yeah, I'm absolutely loving your perspective on life, and I just think that actually you are a pure example of leadership, of courage, of determination. You know, an absolute ambassador for living a life without limits, and you know, and I'm in awe of you, and I'm, you know, massively grateful for your time this evening. And I've just got one real last question, which is, my coaching practice is called Always Better Than Yesterday. I just wonder what that phrase means to you, and how are some of the things, you know, what's some of the ways in which that you're always better than yesterday?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a saying that goes, you're never who you're going to be today, yesterday, tomorrow, or in the future. And so really understanding that whatever happens today, it doesn't have to carry over into tomorrow. If something bad happens to you today, tomorrow's a brand new day. And the fact that each day is not taken for granted. You have to be respectful of the fact that you're alive tomorrow. And what are you going to do tomorrow or the next day or next year that's going to make you even more of who you want to be? You build to yourself. You're always better than who you want to be if you let yourself be better than who you want to be. You can hold yourself back. That's fine. That's your personal, you know, goals or whatever. But the fact that tomorrow is given to you to make yourself something, to make yourself better, if we don't take advantage of that, you know, then yeah, okay, maybe tomorrow won't be better, but tomorrow has all the opportunities to be better. There's nobody standing in the way that says what happened to you yesterday has to affect you for the next 3 weeks. It doesn't have to. But like we talked about mindset, it's so important to build that mindset. The more you build your mind and things like that, every day is better. The next day is better. The next week is better because you already know where you want to go and what your goals are in life, and you have to get there. You can't tell yourself, oh, one day I'll own this house. I think, I don't know, maybe I will. No, I have to. I have to get to where I want to be because of other people. People are watching you, whether you know it or not. A lot of people are watching you. And sometimes they tell you when it comes across a little weird. They're like, oh, I've watched you for years. And you're like, oh, God, that's so weird. But it's because of the, you know, aura you give off or the energy you give off. People are drawn to you because of your energy. But they're also drawn away to you if you have negative energy.
Yeah, I agree. I have a good friend that's from Colorado, and she has a radio show, and I think that she's already trying to tee you up for a radio show. So hopefully you guys can connect after this talk and jump on Chris Saunders' radio show. I'm sure she'd love that.
Absolutely.
Amazing. So just before we go, give me a few examples of how you're always better than yesterday.
So we, gosh, I think we've talked about it a million times now, but books make me better than yesterday. So everything I read changes who I am each day. Every time I get up and decide to get ready in the morning and make sure that I, you know, am on time to work, and then I'm on time to my business, and I help another family, I'm better than I was yesterday. Each person I impact makes me better than I was yesterday because I'm changing not only my story, but I'm helping to change everybody else's story. You know, each one of us has a why. Why are you doing this? What are you so passionate about? What are you so obsessed about in life? But until you can actually tell your why, I don't actually know if I believe you, because you have to have that passion, you know? So yes, we all have the potential to be better than we were yesterday, but what are you doing to get there? So I listen to a lot of music. I love music. It's so empowering the way music works, but you have to make sure you're putting the right things in front of you, the right people and stuff like that. So.
Have you got a soundtrack? You got a couple of favorite songs?
Not a soundtrack specifically, but I love songs that are empowering. So it's a little hard to search and Google songs of empowerment. You don't really get too much that way. But Carrie Underwood is one of my favorite singers, and she sings Champion. Absolutely, that's one of my favorite songs. If you've ever watched The Greatest Showman, which is all about becoming a business owner, that one is such an empowering movie because it shows you the struggles and the success. and how
Absolutely.
everybody in that movie is so different, but everybody comes together for one goal, and everybody's life changes because of it. So things like that.
We are on the same page. We are on the same page. I will rock out with you to Carrie Underwood for sure.
Absolutely.
I have my country as my guilty pleasure.
There you go.
Did I say that out loud?
Oh, and recorded, but that's
okay. Can I just say what an honour it has been for you to join me for the last half an hour, 40 minutes. It has been an absolute pleasure to hear a bit more about you and your mindset and how you think and how you feel and the difference that you are making to the world. And you know, with the viewers that have jumped on and the listeners that have jumped on the podcast, I'm sure there'll be something that they'll be able to take away. Guys, you know, for those of you that are listening and watching, just push one of our faces right now and then push the share button. Push the share button and just make sure that this message gets spread as far and wide as you possibly can. Let as many people see this inspiring lady as often and as, you know, because what you have shared this evening is just scratching the surface of the potential of humanity.
Right.
Where can people find more of your content?
Right now, currently, I do a lot on Instagram. I have a new brand or tag. It's called Wheel Life Connection. So like real, but because I'm in a wheelchair, we use the word wheel. So I do a lot of stuff on there, motivational quotes, pictures, stuff like that. And then that's going to become a bigger brand. So I'm using that to build a video blog and stuff like that. So follow. I'm on Facebook as well, just under my name, but just anything like that for now is where the content's going to be. And then as it gets bigger, you know, we'll continue to share and push out. And I appreciate all the shares and stuff now too. So
amazing. You've been incredible. Thank you so much for your time and enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And you as well.
Great. Guys, thank you for watching and thank you for listening. If there's anything that's really resonated with you in this interview session, I'd love it if you captured some quotes. Turn something Sarah said into a quote or a meme and tag her in it on Instagram or Facebook, and let's get those rolling because you know, it's been amazing. So much value. I appreciate you guys. Much love. Thank you, Sarah, and hope we speak soon.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Take care. Bye now.
Bye-bye.